International Women's Day has become a celebration of women's achievements in politics, business, and the arts. But believe it or not, it began with American socialism and Eastern European communism.
The day was first declared by the American Socialist Party in 1909. In 1917, it actually played a role in setting into motion the events that would become Russia's October Revolution. Socialist leaders used International Women's Day ostensibly to highlight their commitment to gender equity, a commitment that resulted only in equal misery for everyone involved.
Contrary to its socialist origins, though, over 100 years of evidence since the first International Women's Day tells us that free markets are the single best solution to inequality, gender or otherwise. To illustrate this, let's look at two data sets.
First, the Fraser Institute's Economic Freedom of the World report measures economic freedom, the degree to which people are free to make their own decisions without government intervention. Second, the United Nations Development Programme's Human Development Report measures gender equality.
The Fraser Institute does not consider gender equality when measuring economic freedom, and the United Nations does not consider economic freedom when measuring gender equality.
The two data sets are completely independent of one another, yet when we combine them, a fascinating pattern emerges.
Out of 152 countries measured by the United Nations, women in more economically free countries suffer significantly less gender inequality than women in less economically free countries.
They experience lower maternal mortality,
their life expectancy is higher,
their rate of secondary education is higher,
and they hold a greater proportion of seats in government.
In short, in economically freer countries, women's lives are longer, more prosperous, and more self-directed.
Of course, this might not come as a surprise. Rich countries tend to be more economically free, and people in rich countries tend to have more time and energy to be concerned with gender equality.
So maybe gender equality isn't a function of economic freedom so much as wealth. But it is. Watch what happens when we look at only the 30 poorest countries in the world. The same pattern emerges.
Women in poor but economically free countries suffer less inequality, have lower maternal mortality rates, have longer life expectancy, have higher rates of secondary education, spend more years in school, and hold a greater proportion of seats in government.
Since the advent of International Women's Day, many well-meaning people have looked to government control of markets as the solution to gender inequality. Yet the data show that countries that exercise greater control over markets suffer significantly greater gender inequality.
There is no better time to note these facts than on International Women's Day. A celebration that was once simple communist propaganda should be repurposed to celebrate the forces that actually lift people, all people, out of poverty and inequality.
Because in the end, the data suggests that equality doesn't come at the end of the government's gun, but at the end of the free market's handshake.